What's going on, real estate investors? This is your market update with data as recent as October 2025 for Bryan College Station. So if you want to know what's going on in the housing market, what you need to do as a buyer, a seller, or investor, this is the video for you. We're going to jump right into the data and I'm going to give you some unfiltered recommendations based on what we're seeing in the market today. Again, this is data released by the MLS as recent as October 2025. Okay, so our median price is flat. We have seen some down months. We've seen some increasing, some appreciating months. This month we're flat year over year. Currently $320,000 is our median price point. Closed sales are down compared to last year, but less than 1% at 244. Active listings are up. They're up. This is one of the biggest numbers of this market update. We now have 1,329 active listings on the MLS. That is a new record and a 10-year high for the Bryan College Station Metro. That is up nearly 17% from the year prior. Active inventory, months of inventory, also up 4.7 months of inventory. That is up 0.4 months compared to last year, which is a huge increase. And I've said this before, anything over about 4 months of inventory usually means we're in a buyer's market, meaning buyers have the upper hand in most cases. Another number that jumped out to me on this market update is the days on market. 80 days is a lot. I'm going to hover over this for you here. Look at this chart and look at the jump. Just a month ago, we were at about 60 days on market. Now, this is the number of days from when you actively list a property to when you go under contract. So again, 60 days, what we've seen for the last few months. We now had a huge jump up to 80 days for days on market. Total days, including the escrow time frame, is now 112 days on market. And the last number that I want to point out to you is the closed to original list price. This is the ratio of what a house sells for compared to what it was originally listed at. This takes into account things like price decreases by the seller. It also takes into account the buyer negotiating with the seller for a lower price. We're at 94.7%. Guys, we've been hovering right around 95 to 96. This is a pretty big drop and one of the lowest numbers we've seen in a while. What this is basically telling us is that in most cases, on average, across the market, we're seeing houses sell for about 5% under that original asking price. So the question is, what does this mean to you as a buyer, a seller, or an investor? Well, let's start off with my sellers out there. Guys, you have to understand the market. You have to understand not just the whole market. This is all of Bryan College Station. It's a pretty large metro, but you need to understand your street and your neighborhood because quite frankly, it's not the same everywhere. Here's a case in point. There's a recent house I took some buyers to in the Oaks, which is a neighborhood in Bryan. A $250,000 asking price. Within 24 hours, they had 3 offers all over asking price. So you can still get a lot of demand for your property, but it really matters on where it's located, the condition of the house, and of course, the most important thing, the price of the house. Remember that. Location, condition, price. That is how you market and sell a house. When it comes to my buyers, my investors, guys, it still holds true that right now is a great time to get a great deal on a single family here in Bryan College Station. I hope you heard what I said there, on a single family. That's where most of the opportunity stands. When it comes to our multifamily, our duplexes, our fourplexes, we don't see the same weakness in the market. But that could be changing. Quite frankly, recently, very recently, within the last month, I personally have noticed some softness in the market. For example, as of this recording, there are 2 duplexes on Oldenburg. These were built in 2003-ish, 3-bedroom per side. One of my favorite layouts in Bryan College Station, and they just had a price drop from about $410,000 to about $400,000. It is very unusual to see a price drop in one of these duplexes, but hey, it's happening. Maybe that is an indication of future softening in the multifamily side of things. I will keep you posted. You will know because you're gonna hit the subscribe button, and that's how you're gonna keep up to date every single month when I drop a new market update video. And of course, you hit the like button. That just helps me grow the channel. All right, that is your market update. The other thing that I want to hit on real quick, because it has been all over my social media, and that is this 50-year mortgage. Plain and simply, I don't think it's a good idea. These are rough numbers. You can check me in the comments below, run the actual math, but when I ran the numbers, a 50-year mortgage compared to a 30-year mortgage, if you were taking out a $300,000 loan, over the length of that loan, over the full time frame, that 50-year mortgage is gonna cost you over $300,000 more in interest. Yes, you pay $160 less per month. Whoopee. Yes, you could get pre-approved for a more expensive house. Whoopee. You're paying $300,000 more in interest over the life of the loan. It's unacceptable in my eyes. The other number that stood out to me when I was running the math on this, and listen to this one closely. If you have two people, you and your friend buy a house at the same time, you take out the same loan amount, call it $300,000, and you start to pay it off. One guy has a 50-year mortgage, one guy has a 30-year mortgage. When the second guy pays off his mortgage at the end of that 30-year time frame, one guy owns his house free and clear. But the guy who got the 50-year mortgage still owes $200,000 on that loan. Oh, and by the way, he's got to make those monthly payments every single month for another 2 decades. Long and short there, guys, the 50-year mortgage is a very dumb idea for consumers, great idea for the banks. They're going to make a lot of money off of it. So if you take anything away from this, invest in the banks if this 50-year mortgage comes to fruition, because they're going to make all the money. We're going to get screwed. That is your market update. I will see you in the comments if you guys have any questions.